Hi, everyone. My name is Avery Bown. I'm the managing director of Kane Repertory Theater.
Hi, my name is Daniel Krimmer, and I'm the artistic director of Cane Rep.
Okay, friends, I'm going to introduce, for those of you who don't know, a little bit about Kane Rep. We are a small professional theater located 45 miles outside of Chicago in the town of St. Charles, Illinois. We are a home to professional, intellectually stimulating theater, and by using visceral performance to explore values in America, we seek to spark conversation, evoke empathy, and strengthen the community. And tonight, you are joining us for the seventh play of the new play cycle. This is our seventh presentation, which I think is absolutely amazing. We are so lucky to be working with such an amazing magnitude of artists. And I think that Dan will tell you a little bit more about the new play lab.
Yeah, so the new Play Lab, when COVID hit, it sort of took us off the physical stage and inspired us to reimagine how we can serve the American theater. And so me and Avery thought at Kane Rep, the best thing that we can do is to further the processes of playwrights and the works that they are currently working on, even though they can't workshop it on a live stage. And so the new Play Lab really has two goals. It's to support the playwrights' needs in order to further develop their plays, and then two, to invest in artists that further the integrity of the American theater. So with all of the playwrights that we've picked so far, and our eighth one as well, we're always trying to find different voices, different perspectives, different lived experiences, different devices, trying to find plays that really are challenging either the norm of the norms or challenging the norm of theatrical devices, all kinds of ways. So Avery's going to introduce to you the playwright that we have tonight, David Valdes.
All right. And so I did also just want to add something on to what Dan said, is that, he talked about furthering the integrity of the American theater. I think that an important thing to point out is that to tell the full American story requires you to find a lot of broad perspectives. And I think that the new Play Lab has been amazing in helping us do that. And David Valdes is, of course, no different. He is the author of plays including The Mermaid Hour, Full Code, Bully Dance, and Brave Navigator. His work has been at the Humana Festival in Louisville, Portland Stage Little Festival of the Unexpected, New York Theater Workshop Thursday Studio, New York International Fringe Fest, and Orlando Shakes Play Lab. Some recent works include Much Undone, which was which was on Shakespeare's New Contemporary Shortlist in 2020. The Last Catastrophist, which was at Fresh Ink Theater. Up the Ladder, Down the Slide in 2019 at the National New Play Showcase, and Downtown Crossing, which is currently in development. He is also at work on a new play called Alamar about the Cuban diaspora. And also, if you want to learn a little bit more about David, get to meet him a little bit more personally, then you can join us directly after this show for a talkback, which will be moderated by Kay Martinovich. And just want to also say that audience feedback is an amazing tool for David as well. It's not just a chance to meet him, it's also a chance for you to reflect your thoughts back to him so that he can help further the development of his play. And so your perspectives are extremely valuable to him and to us, and I hope that you stick around to have your voice heard.
I completely agree. I think it's incredible, and I know all of the playwrights that we've had on so far have been enormously thankful for all of the feedback they've received in past sessions. This new Play Lab really couldn't have happened to this point without the generous support of everybody that comes out and watches the new Play Lab weekly. Please, we are asking, if you can, please donate today. All of the funds go towards funding these guest artists that we bring on. We pay all of our directors, we pay all of our actors, we pay our playwrights. And I think to anybody that runs a theater in this day and age, they know that's a very expensive task. So please consider donating. We suggest a $20 admission price, but that being said, we know times are difficult. Please, whatever you can, whether it's $10, it's $5, anything helps, anything so we can consider furthering this program and furthering these voices around the country. You can donate through Venmo at Kane Rep. We have a Venmo at Kane Rep. There's a secure donation link you'll see in the body of the YouTube page. You can click that and donate there. Also, you can text Kane Rep to the number 44321. Text Kane Rep to the number 44321, and a secure donation link will pop up and you can donate through there as well. Again, we appreciate all of your support so far. I'm sure that I can speak for the artists involved, that they appreciate your support, especially in these difficult times. Thank you, and please consider donating. Avery.
All right. And so tonight, as Dan said before, is Vow Keepers, which is directed by Ansley Valentine. You can read more about Ansley and all of the wonderful performers that we have tonight by following the digital program link, which is also in the detail section that Dan just mentioned, where you can also find that donation link. And so go check that out, learn about the artists that we have, because all of them are amazing. And now we will pass it on to Al Herman, who will be reading the stage directions.
Vow Keepers, or Meet the Kids, by David Valdes. Mostly bare stage. Right in the middle, a young couple lie, limbs entangled, wrapped in bedding on a bed angled upward on the upstage side, as if putting them on display. At the foot of the bed, a pair of high-end sweatpants and a longish bathrobe lie where they were thrown off. His and his garment bags hang upstage, perhaps open to reveal hints of tuxes. The two are dreaming away the last hours before their wedding. They're in their 20s, which makes them kids by the standards of life. Mudge, late 60s, walks on stage in a monochrome outfit, which fits pretty well. Mudge has aged like a canyon into something weathered, solid, and attractive. Mudge surveys the scene.
This should be interesting.
From the opposite side of the stage comes Pudge, just as old, but shorter, a bit rounder, befitting the name. Pudge is dressed similarly to Mudge, not matchy-matchy, but not especially distinct. Pudge sees the sleeping kids, who do look awfully young next to the older pair, then looks critically at what Mudge is wearing.
Oh, honey, that's so drab.
There's the pot to the kettle.
Why neutrals?
It's always neutrals.
At these prices, we should project a little more style.
I don't think looks are the point.
Still, monochrome? I feel dowdy.
Call it sleek.
They'll think we're cheap, or poor, or...
They'll think, look at the guns on that one.
Ooh, vanity at a time like this.
It's not vanity if it's true.
Pudge coughs, takes a deep breath. Mudge instantly adopts a look of concern for Pudge. He nods at the kids.
Are you sure about this?
Me? You started it.
So I did, but only for you.
He kisses Pudge on the forehead, lingers there for a moment.
Don't be nice now.
I wasn't nice yesterday?
We aren't talking about yesterday.
We are always talking about yesterday.
Oh, how could we not? It was so long.
Mudge extends an arm into the tune of a wedding march. They circle around and so are just out of the light, standing in the position just upstage of the sleepers, looking down on them. The kids stir. Charlie wakes first, snuggling against London, who tries valiantly to keep his eyes closed.
So, what are you doing today?
Trying to sleep.
You can't possibly.
Not under these conditions, no.
Well, I'm not a condition. I'm your better half to be.
So right now I'm still my own better half?
Right now, you are failing enthusiasm school.
Despite having the best teacher.
I know, right? Shower?
What kind of shower?
Soap, shampoo, and the you behaving? The only kind we have time for.
Then I control the temperature. I'm not going to my own wedding scalded.
You frail flower.
Oh, this from you.
He kisses Charlie impulsively.
I have some ideas for after the wedding.
Oh, I bet you do.
For that matter, we could just skip the ceremony and get right to the after.
You have a one-track mind.
That's just biology. Who needs a wedding anyway?
You have met me, yes?
Kidding. It'll be fantastic. And then we'll have a photo album to show the kids someday.
A little Sophie, or maybe a Jonah,
Twins. We'll name them Ron and Harry.
if we get babies.
I'll settle for nothing less.
We could get stuck with toddlers.
I insist on babies.
You just want naming rights.
Don't you? Good news, fellas. You've been matched. You're the proud dads of little Agnes Marie.
No, Gladys, Muriel.
Oh, imagine. Gladys, honey, Daddy needs to change your diaper. And your name.
To Gladiola,
Gladiator.
Radiator,
Aviator.
Avatar,
Tar and feather.
Feather in my cap,
Clap.
Crabs,
Chlamydia.
Gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea. Syphilis. Herpes. Come on. We're going to be late for church.
We are going to be late for church. To the shower, Batman.
The circle of light widens and Mudge and Pudge step forward.
Morning, kids!
Congratulations!
Both kids leap out of their skin.
What the fuck?
He scrambles for the drawstring pants and dons them.
Felicitaciones. Glückwünsche. Sestica.
You know they speak English. They got you the first time.
This is private property.
Not yours.
What?
It's the Hotel Elevate on Oxford.
Conveniently located just 1 block from the old Trinity Cathedral.
Which really is a lovely choice.
Odd for atheists, but we get it.
Aesthetics really do photograph better than ideals.
Stop talking.
I'm calling the manager.
Charlie grabs the robe and ties the belt very officiously as if preparing to depart.
What?
Aren't you even a little curious why we're here?
And how we knew?
About the church and all?
No. Fuck off.
Hold on. I am curious.
You would be.
You're not? Not even a little?
There are strangers in the bedroom.
Not yours.
I paid for this room, so I think it is.
Huh.
Let's hear them out. This could be a fantastic story we tell our kids.
About that.
Too soon.
A story? Yeah, like on Channel 7 News. Couple murdered in hotel room.
Honey, they're ancient. No offense.
None taken.
Speak for yourself.
But we are.
They're hardly a physical threat, and I don't think they're packing heat.
Packing heat, really?
Hard to believe you're the writer.
Hey, now, never give up on your dreams.
Okay. I'm guessing we can take a couple of elderly...
Elderly?
That's really unnecessary, you know.
Do we look infirm or demented? I don't think so.
It's not nice to elderly us just because our bits hang a little lower and we don't strut about wearing our taut, perfectly smooth skin on our sleeves. Stop. Nobody parsed that metaphor. Let's let it die where it fell.
I'm going to call the manager in about 3 seconds if you don't explain what's going on.
I'm Pudge, and this is Mudge.
They extend hands, which Charlie shakes, but London does not, crossing his arms instead.
That's adorable.
We're famous.
You think? I haven't heard of you.
A book and a movie, TV,
We won an Emmy,
daytime and Emmy.
but still.
For what?
We're
We're
the
the
Vow
Vow
Keepers. One of the most well-known couples of the 21st century.
famously married. That's us.
What does that even mean?
We offer marital advice across just about every imaginable platform.
Oh my God, we're being punked.
Wait, who said we needed advice?
Oh, everyone needs it.
We didn't ask.
No one does.
We could have used a little Vow Keepers action.
Except we didn't exist yet. But let's talk about you.
Maybe let's call that manager now? Or you can just go, and really, this will be a story we tell later.
You do hate a complication.
No, it's the disappointment that's too much.
They've done their homework. I think we're done here.
London steps boldly away from the light. He pauses, confused. The air changes somehow.
I've read about this part. It's creepy.
I know, right?
What the fuck?
Honey bunches?
Charlie hurries over and stops. He sees what London sees.
Oh. Okay.
Where's the door?
Door? Where's the room? Okay, bed's still there.
What the fuck?
But for a TV show I've never heard of, the special effects are amazing.
Thank you. We try.
Stop that. Ignore Mudge. This isn't a show.
He waves to indicate the space of light.
It's a suspension pool. You have no way of knowing that, obviously.
Obviously. Stay close.
You're shaking.
Aren't you?
No. Not yet.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Give it a minute. Well?
Because
Listen here.
Enough out of you, honey bunches.
because it's not real.
You think?
Well, honey, it's okay because this isn't even happening.
You've lost your mind.
Well, maybe, but that would just prove my point, right?
London pinches Charlie.
Ow!
Bet that felt real.
In what reality do we step out of bed and find two more people in one less room? I mean, they're empty pools of darkness where the walls should be. Name one time ever that your surrounding disappeared, or anyone's. No? No. So it's either not real, or at least not our reality real.
Okay.
So chill out. Let's go with it.
Well, look at you.
10 minutes. I'm impressed.
From what we've read, this can all take so much longer.
And if we ever needed speed, this is the time.
I suppose it is.
Well, I'm done.
Honey bunches, I'm right here.
Yeah? Are you? How would we know?
Charlie pinches London.
Hey!
What's good for the gander? The way I see it,
Oh my god.
Here we go.
there are two possible options.
Shoot me.
What?
You're gonna try and make it okay by talking it to death, and I'm gonna want to strangle myself before you're done.
Ooh.
You said that out loud.
And so early in the game.
That's a tell. We're on the right track.
I guess we are.
Could we have a moment?
Mudge and Pudge studiously pretend to be looking elsewhere.
That was a shitty thing to say.
Not real. So I never said it.
Well, in this reality, it hurt my feelings.
In this reality, I'm too freaked out to censor. But in a real world, one where our hotel room has walls and a ceiling and only two people, I'd be sorry.
Then maybe somewhere you're forgiven?
So, the way you see it?
There are only two possibilities.
Dream and too many bourbon and gingers.
Dream and sci-fi.
Of course you Doctor Who it.
Dream is too easy. Everyone says dream. Doctor Who's at least personal.
So is bourbon and ginger.
It's either a dream, the one with a especially clear narrative,
This is a clear narrative?
or an alien encounter.
Close enough. I win.
You don't believe in aliens.
I don't disbelieve them. I'm open to the possibility, especially now that these two have waltzed in here knowing our business.
You're only saying that to get me on board.
Maybe all that Doctor Who stuff you love so much.
Well, that was right on cue.
Maybe instead of teasing you, I should have been paying attention.
I can't believe you're saying this.
admittedly, I don't see a tar boxer anywhere.
TARDIS. Christ.
It could be sci-fi and a dream if you're involved.
You think it's my dream. My dream was to sleep in late and then hit brunch before the wedding.
Does seem more me, right? Little mystery, you in a thong.
London marches up to the older pair. Charlie watches from the bed, eager to see what London will do.
Enough. Just tell us what the fuck is going on.
The older set look at each other and make a little agreement.
We're not
We're
aliens.
not aliens.
I knew that.
It is a dream.
But you might call it sci-fi anyway.
Not a dream?
Doesn't have to be either or.
Binaries are so passé.
Certainly sounds like your dream.
Shall we?
Let's.
We
come from the future.
The kids just stand there a moment, dubious as hell. They wait for more.
We
come from
the future.
the future. All the literature says it's a tough sell.
How many times have I told you in a movie there'd be music at this point?
Well, I can't help that, can I?
And dramatic lighting.
Well, we just about beamed into their hotel room. What's not dramatic enough?
I got this. So, you rode the space-time continuum all the way here from when the fuck ever just for us.
Yes, actually.
Then let me guess. You're going to tell us that Earth is in danger and only we can change the fate of the world by racing against time to do some unexpected thing. And we may even miss our own wedding because we care about humanity so much we'll sacrifice our own happiness. But if we do, then everything we know will be altered because we fucked with history and blah, blah, blah.
Did you just blah, blah, blah me?
You just tapped into that famously deep reservoir of scorn. It's so much nicer when it's not focused on you. Am I right?
Well, you'll have to try harder. That storyline's just about the most overworked, what's that word you always use? Not cliche, but...
Trope?
The most overworked trope in sci-fi. Right up there with the aliens who want to feel human and they're only attacking because they're afraid of us. I write better fan fiction than that.
You write fan fiction?
Not now. If you're from the future, then you know that plotline is like 200 years old. So dazzle me with something I don't know or let us go the fuck to sleep.
You write?
We'll get to that later. But your sweetie here did kind of issue us a challenge.
Now?
Why not? Time is so short. Maybe hold hands or something. This part is a doozy.
London and Charlie warily comply.
We're not so much from the future.
Generally speaking.
Okay.
Okay.
As we're from your future.
And not so much from...
As our.
Oh, my God.
You're...
You.
Shit.
You're us?
We're all us, if that's any easier.
Why would that be easier?
Community?
That's how they knew about... Oh, my God.
Oh, that's so cute. We were so cute.
And I had no idea.
No, you didn't.
London takes a step closer to Mudge, perhaps circling.
That's me?
I am a model of health for my age.
At least you don't have an extra chin or two.
By American standards, I'm practically a waif, and if you don't like it, don't become it.
Don't I have to?
Of course not.
You think we'd make this trip if you couldn't change things?
And don't you worry about the space-time continuum. As it turns out, it's vastly more forgiving than everyone thought in your day.
Right, of course. Great. Wake up!
What?
Wake up!
I think we've established that this is sci-fi, not a dream.
Except I don't believe in sci-fi. I read it, watch it, collect the occasional figurine, and sometimes dream of going to Comic-Con in a spandex costume, but give me a break, Charlie. I don't believe any of it. If I did, it wouldn't be fiction, it would be reality. And then where would I go for an escape?
This seems a start.
It would to you, because you're all about fanciful notions and endless possibility, and this is your dream.
I don't know.
You have to wake up.
Sorry, honey bunches, but just on the wild chance that it's somehow really, truly happening, then it's amazing and fantastic. And I want to know what we're meant to know. I mean, really, look. Living proof that we grow old together, just like we dreamed. Oh, I love it. But if it is just a dream and it's my dream, then no way am I waking up. This could be amazing material.
Oh, you'll wake up. I will wake you up.
Don't even try to out-stubborn me.
I will.
You really want to have a throwdown on our wedding?
No, I want to wake up so we can fucking have the goddamn thing.
Nice. So, you both right?
Mm-hmm.
Just me. And just the one.
That was published.
Oh, one wasn't enough, wasn't it? To keep us comfortable.
How comfortable.
The Vow Keepers handbook was huge, reprinted endlessly.
It spawned a movie, terrible,
Awful.
but lucrative. And that producer.
The one who launched Handbit.
Who did what?
Oh, that's right. You don't have Handbit yet. You will.
Will you ever? Shopping, porn, healthcare, all bit style. It was genius, really. Whoever thought to monetize palm cards with ad bits?
So your dream, your tech lingo is embarrassing.
Don't knock palm cards.
Or Handbit. After all, you're going to make quite a lot of money streaming advice.
How does that make money?
It got them a TV show, weren't you listening?
Oh, no. The TV business was well before. People left it in droves for Handbit.
Where the real money is, even now.
Let me boil down your century. Memoir, movie, TV, Handbit.
Remember TV?
The Emmy was lovely,
Daytime enemy.
but broadcast was on its last legs. We retired on carried content.
And you wanted me to wake up? This is fantastic. We're going to be able to retire after all.
Oh, you weren't feeling hopeful?
I'm a writer, and London works at the mall.
As a manager,
And is terrible at holding on to cash.
you don't have to take it this far.
Oh, we know.
What was that?
Something in my eye.
Why was Mudge winking at you?
You mean why I was winking at me? Maybe we blinked.
Well, maybe I'll ask me then. Why was Mudge winking at London?
You know what they say. If you can't laugh, you might as well cry. And really, London's way with finances.
Not a laughing matter. But we did try to laugh it off.
Why are you taking their side?
Oh no, I am only on our side.
Fess up. The looks, the smiles. What do I not know?
Between you and me,
I'm right here.
Very good point.
I'm just saying, this money thing, it's like the diet thing. You might want to speed up your learning curve. Your credit cards alone, well.
Cards. Plural?
Charlie wheels off to London's garment bag and digs through, retrieving a wallet.
Hold up, Char.
Charlie finds a sleeve full of cards.
You said that you paid them all off, but one, and that was an American Express that you'd have to pay every month. That's what you said.
I said I would pay them off.
By the wedding! Today is the wedding.
London busies himself putting the wallet away at the garment bag.
Can we save this fight for a waking moment?
It is not good to keep secrets on your wedding day.
Number of partners.
What?
I think that was number of partners.
I say we stick to the subject.
What does it matter how many partners I've had?
Not two.
Gesundheit.
Wait, how many have you had?
Well,
So there were more than Trace and Devin.
uh,
And why would you keep that from me?
I,
What? I don't get it.
This is a case where employing the binary would be fine. Black or white, awake, asleep, more.
More or less? Excuse us as much as you can. I always knew Devin was too good to be true. I mean, come on. I saw those pics. We're okay, you and I, but neither of us was ever drawing that kind of top shelf. You two didn't actually date, did you?
no. My first,
Was Trace. I knew it. With the blonde dreads and all the bracelets. Pitiful.
was you.
You are fucking kidding me.
Trace and I went on a date-ish or two, but okay, nothing official. And I'm not entirely sure that Trace plays for our team.
Oh my god. Char, nobody marries their first partner, except Mormon girls and Indian brides in arranged marriages.
Actually, I think arranged marriages skip boyfriend entirely and start at husband.
In which case, you're ahead of the curve.
Tell me you at least slept with them.
I slept in the same bed once with Devin on a band trip. It was very hot.
Oh my god. I took your cherry?
You don't have to say it like that. Well, I actually think it's kind of great.
What is wrong with you? These are not small details.
It has nothing to do with us. That was all before.
Except you keeping the lie, which seems fairly current.
So I fudged a little to keep up with all of your conquests. I mean, it's not like I've been busy racking up credit card debt enough to bury us.
I was going to tell you, and I'm on track now.
On track. As in caught up? Or as in not using the cards anymore until it's all paid off?
Stop that. It's fucking irritating. After today, I'm never even using a credit card again.
You haven't paid for today?
Look, I get the personal bonus as soon as the holiday rush is over, and I'm paying off the rest with that. It's all planned.
Is that what happens? Does the bonus cover it?
It was certainly intended to.
See?
Intended?
While you were sleeping through a blizzard you didn't expect,
The mayor issued a snow emergency,
and a parking ban
which you missed.
because you were sleeping.
So you didn't move.
Oh my god.
The Mustang.
My Mustang.
And then snowplow.
I've had that car since I was 16.
So technically, yes, the plan was to pay for the wedding right away. It's just the universe.
Is a funny place.
The phone is ringing.
What?
The phone is ringing.
I don't hear
Is it the hospital?
I don't hear anything.
Is it the ER calling?
Oh!
Well played.
Because your mother's fallen again.
What are you talking about?
Can't you hear it? Oh my god.
Do you hear it?
If she dies alone because you won't answer,
I don't hear anything!
it's outside the dream.
What?
And you're still under. You have to swim back up to the surface to hear it. Listen!
But
Listen! Oh, you're almost there. Just open your eyes and...
Oh! Using my own mother to wake me up?
I was half convinced that would work.
You should know better.
You've always been smooth, which has caused me no small amount of grief.
Are we talking about yesterday again?
We always are.
Perhaps we should focus on them.
Safer, certainly. How are you kids doing?
I don't even know.
Is this how everyone reacts to your advice?
We're retired. Did you not catch that?
When you were doing it back when, or in the future, or what the fuck ever. Did everyone want to strangle you?
Probably some, yes. But the book made us celebrities, and you know how people are with celebrities.
I don't even get the book.
It was sort of a witty, memoir-y thing about how we ran out on our own wedding.
You what?
The skies were gray, and there was a threat of storm, and we woke up terribly irritated. The day felt doomed.
I wouldn't go that far, but it certainly wasn't a pretty morning.
My dad started drinking before the service. Charlie's mom began crying because of the whole sodomy thing. And we ended up saying fuck it.
Grabbing our closest friends and going out for Chinese instead.
Leaving a room full of very confused and angry people behind.
People hated us. We were supposed to provide them with a lovely wedding, and we ruined it.
But oh, that Chinese restaurant.
Oh, our friends toasting us with enormous pineapple cups.
And the appetizer wedding cake my best man made out of scallion pancakes.
With the little Buddha and a Maneko Neko kitty on top.
Borrowed from the counter next to the mints.
It was genius. We all took pictures.
We blew up the best one and framed it.
And it's hung in a place of honor.
Everywhere we've lived.
Let me see if I got this. You ditched your families and never got married, which somehow made you relationship experts? And people think I'm cynical.
You are?
Who said we never got married?
Of course we did. The next day even.
Why else would we be here?
To tell us to eat Chinese? I don't fucking know.
Nice try, but I'm not buying it.
Which part?
Beyond not being remotely likely that I skipped my own wedding? I don't think that there's a book in it. Clever, short, maybe, but a whole book? No.
That's what you're taking from this?
You don't give yourself enough credit. I spun that story into a cultural manifesto in which I tried to get other people to cast off their conventional wedding plans so they too could start their married lives together free from all those expectations, which in turn became a metaphor for how to live happily ever after. It was of the moment and ahead of its time and funny and serious all at once.
So in the movie, they made it look like we went on some wild crusade trying to talk everyone out of their weddings with hilarious consequences.
How is that hilarious?
I'm quoting the poster.
And the New York Times.
Remember the times?
You really did that? Run around talking people out of the lovely days that they had been planning for months? Or was that a Sedarisy thing where you made stuff up and called it truish so it would sell better?
You might think a moment about who you're accusing of what.
It did sell. Pudge was huge for a while. Famous. After the book and the movie, we were offered a morning show.
As Pudge and Mudge.
I was like, those are crap names.
What did Farouz say? It's only a step up from Cranky Pants and Fatso.
Such a way with words. Obviously, it was the handiwork of a producer. Soulless, but savvy.
He said it would make viewers feel close to us.
And you know what? It worked. Lame or not. Even I'm famous now.
Truly. We're household names.
Like Fred and Ginger, Beyonce and Jay-Z, Lark and Olmo.
Who?
Sorry, leapt ahead.
And once Handbit came around, people could insert our pre-programmed commentary into existing footing of weddings. It was a hoot.
Imagine a clip of a bride and her father headed up the aisle, and then how it looks when you can hear one of our signature bits.
Bears stand side by side, eyeing an imagined wedding.
It's the walk of legends. You begin a slow procession.
A strong arm holding yours, tears in your eyes, your heart beating.
Knowing you are just steps away.
From the electric chair.
Darling, wrong walk.
What? Right, sorry. It's not my fault weddings always begin with a scene out of Dead Man Walking. Who came up with that?
A married person!
It's so sour.
Loosen up. It's not sour. It's punchy. We laugh at the end.
It was especially popular after a divorce. Retrofitting a wedding with the two of us sniping. Well, you can imagine.
Parents wanting to stop terrible weddings would say, "Do I need to call the Vow Keepers?"
Divorce lawyers ran ads saying, "It's too late for the Vow Keepers, but not for us."
People got it. We weren't anti-marriage. We were just anti-stupidity.
The asshole principle became accepted wisdom.
It's like a maxim now. Well, for people who swear.
The what?
The asshole principles for a happy marriage.
Rule number 1.
Don't marry an asshole.
Rule number 2.
Don't be an asshole.
Rule number 3.
Assholes can be fun.
Rule number 4.
It doesn't take a wedding to enjoy an asshole.
Rule number 5.
Know the difference between an asshole and an asshole.
Avoid one, pay attention to the other.
And don't base marriage on either.
That is our lasting contribution to culture.
Well, it's no footprints in the sand. Eventually, the gig ran its course, suddenly old and stale, like TV or Facebook or the post office, and people moved on to other bits.
By then, we were quite comfortable.
Enough that when Time Stream came along,
we could afford to be early adopters. Less than 1,000 Americans have ever purchased time travel, which makes us special.
Again, it wasn't like our Wikibit entry was short to start with.
No, I don't buy it.
Tag team Doubting Thomases, you're exhausting.
Go on, do tell.
You can afford time travel to what? Anywhere, anytime.
That's a textbook question. All the literature says you'll ask.
Does the literature say I'm this close to clocking you?
Yes, actually, rage is quite common.
But to your question, time streams decidedly not unlimited.
It has to be somewhere where we've been and only while we're still there.
It's science, not creation.
And only for a select window of time, which gets, well, caught for a moment.
The suspension pool we mentioned?
Both boys instinctively turn toward the pool of light.
You can't see anything that falls beyond the periphery of your vision the moment we suspended you.
Charlie even goes to peer at the edge.
It's all still there, don't worry.
When we're done, off you go, the world unchanged.
It's on the outside. Are we good?
No, we're not good. Why would you pick this place and this day of all places and times to do your little suspension thing?
Why wouldn't they? It's kind of sweet that you come back to your own wedding. Unless it's not.
Maybe we chose this day for our time stream so Pudge could ogle me half-dressed in the prime of my youth.
Straight up, if you know how today plays out, why come all this way?
We only know what we did then, but we didn't have an us yet. You do. There are twice as many of us in this room as when we were you.
We're here to see if whether double the cast changes how the drama plays out.
It doesn't have to be Chinese in a snowplow. Anything can happen. Let your mind run wild.
I don't want anything to happen but the wedding that I've looked forward to for months.
Years. Don't forget your My Dream Wedding notebook from 3rd grade.
And now, if I believe you, you're saying I get no wedding at all and I make my mother cry?
They made the Chinese with friends sound kind of nice.
The Chinese was nice. And we were so happy, we went home and had good sex.
Not always a given.
Even then.
Even then?
And then a justice of the peace tied a bow on us, and off we went into history.
And you're still together.
Yes.
Yes.
Then I get it.
Do you?
Go on.
Now that you're a little older.
Oh, a little older, is it? Not ancient or elderly, now that it's you?
After a lifetime together, you're looking back and you wish you had done it differently.
Getting warmer.
You're here to give us a chance to undo your mistakes.
Only if you wish.
And have the wedding you deserved after all. I mean, you spent all of those years being cynical and cool and having the fun at the expense of other people's weddings, when really, all you really wanted was to have that moment back, to hold the hand of the one you love in front of the people that you love, and pledge the love you feel no matter how hard or easy it might get. And that love has carried you on for a good half century.
A half century?
Listen to you. No, listen to me.
That's not why they're here.
You, kid, are missing the boat by a mile. And some part of me thinks you must be willfully dense.
They didn't spring the credit cards and the partners on us to get us to the altar any faster.
I'm afraid not.
Then
We're here to give you a chance to undo your mistakes.
By not going to that church.
And not by having Chinese.
Or by getting married the next day.
Silence. Charlie won't go there, and no one will help.
Somebody say it. What they want to undo is us.
And you think this is my dream?
Actually,
It's so yours, all over.
I'm gonna go with time thing.
Time stream.
Time thing sounds ridiculous.
Whatever.
Which you didn't believe in, what, 10 minutes ago?
It's just too clear for a dream. And everything keeps moving forward. Dream logic is more, what's that word you like? Kittenish?
Kittenish? Skittish? Oh, for God's sake.
We can test it, you know.
And how exactly do we do that?
Don't you wish you watched Doctor Who now? Ask them to tell you something I don't know.
I tell you everything.
Sorry. You're just adorable.
I kind of break you of that.
Yes, you do.
Fine. Tell me something I haven't told anyone.
Tell? Oh, I can do better. I can show.
And you call me the exhibitionist.
Show what?
Let's take a wee peek at the garment bags.
Bags plural?
Good point. Just the one'll do. Won't it, Charlie?
Pudge marches up to Charlie's bag confidently, unzips it, revealing its finery, and then fishes around inside. Charlie gets it.
No, that's for...
Later. Of course, that's what makes it a surprise.
A little scroll, no less. How adorable am I?
Stop!
Whatever could it be?
Why, you've written a poem to spring on London after the vows.
A Saturday in Boston. A subway platform, empty save for you
For
and
you
me.
and me.
If it's my dream, then of course you tell me something I know. It's in my head.
So now it's your dream. You're awfully quiet.
Why? You hardly seem surprised at all.
Because you're not.
I'm just soaking in the fact that it's all true. The test worked. You really do know.
London knows we know because London's seen the poem.
What? How?
2 weeks ago.
Are you on my computer?
I told you to password protect.
For airport Wi-Fi jumpers and Starbucks malingerers.
Oh, I never said from who. That's all you. You know I'm a helpless snoop. I liked it. I mean, you know me in poetry. But the daffodil thing?
Glowing like daffodils, the promise of spring.
I still love daffodils.
It was supposed to be a secret.
So we're all caught up, yes? One thing we couldn't possibly know, and so on.
It doesn't make this not a dream. I mean, I could be projecting my fear that London's an asshole.
Your fear what?
Fine. Okay, Charlie. 4th grade. Plunger with the texturized rubber handle.
Oh my God.
Plunger?
Alone in the school bathroom.
What, stop? No, you stop. We don't have time for this. We're on the clock.
You don't seriously think Time Stream is unlimited or cheap?
That's not the clock I meant.
Can we get to business?
If this is a dream, it works by rules we've never seen. But if it's not a dream, I think we better take it seriously.
You would.
Jar.
We both know that you have commitment issues. That your greatest fear is that you will die skewered on your own white picket fence.
Hey.
This is really going the extra mile.
It isn't just me.
No?
No, they both came. You're here too.
I don't get it. It pisses me off that you do.
I don't get it. I'm just going with it.
How are we doing?
A little over halfway.
This clock you mentioned.
You get used to reading it?
No, not that one. The other one.
Now the moment's here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, what?
One of us is dead.
What?
They've come to warn us so it doesn't have to happen. Classic.
Except for the part that they're both visibly alive. Unless you believe in resurrection as well as time travel now?
Don't be a dick.
Mind if we cut in, kids?
No one's dead.
Yet.
How are we doing?
Under 40 minutes.
Until that isn't true anymore.
You can see the future too?
No, but we can certainly read a morphine schedule.
And how to push the button one last time.
Who's pushing the button?
No, stop. Thank you. All done.
You can't be serious.
This is the morning of our wedding. I do not remotely want to know how it ends in 50, 60 years.
And we are back to ancient.
Charlie making a real plea, holding hands.
I want to have my morning and my day. And sorry, my wedding too, and not just Chinese food with a scallion cake. I want to face whatever comes later, which is how it works, right? That's what marriage is, for better or for worse, or for really scary someday. Doesn't take anything away from today.
Silence. The older pair look to London for guidance. London takes a breath and gently extricates his hands.
I love you. And I haven't loved like this before. To be honest, I wasn't totally sure I could. But I want to know if we're going to give each other our whole fucking lives, I want to be ready.
There's no ready.
Not by a long shot. There's only perspective, which you are lacking.
Think of us as perspective. And we really should keep this moving.
Wait, I need to ease into this. I can't take this all at once. You know I transition hard.
He's right.
Please, at least give us a little cushion. A hint of the good too, okay? There is some good, right?
What do you take us
I
for?
wouldn't have stayed all this time if there wasn't.
So you really have been together for 50 years?
40? Do we look that old? Oh, how about the World Fairs?
Marvelous.
UNESCO revived the old World's Fair concept, and they were held every 4 years, never on the same continent consecutively, and everyone, I mean, everyone, even the new Emirates and the Russian parcels participated. For the new version, every pavilion had to have an interactive online presence running the entire time. You could be on a farm in Iowa and watch a live feed of a Bengali dance in the India pavilion, or join a question and answer session with an inventor from Finland without leaving your riverboat in Myanmar. For 3 months, every 4 years, all you heard from everyone was, did you do the Bhutan happiness workshop, or are you going to the Eswatini initiation ritual? And because this exact conversation was happening in Brazil and Macedonia too, you felt tight with the whole world. People were interacting with others who entered the same online pavilions, and amazing things happened. Strangers fell in love. People rediscovered relatives thought lost to war. Natural enemies let go of long-held beliefs, and for 90 wonderful days, it seemed like the whole earth was thrumming with one conversation. It was a rare thing that we both loved equally. Something to be nearly giddy about, long after we'd stopped feeling giddy about much. And there was so much online, we didn't really need to travel all the way to the host city to experience, but we did, as a family, every time.
With one exception.
Every other time. It was our thing. The stuff we did or saw became shorthand, making sense only to us. Don't get all German water wheel on me, or I'm as sick as the Slovakian tunnels. And I can confidently say, in my whole life, this was my favorite tradition.
That sounds awesome.
I'm glad the world occasionally holds hands in your day. That's not what I meant by the good. Trips are great and all, but let's get real. Do you still love each other?
Unquestionably.
Okay then. Well, that's a start, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
So you asked something.
Do we have kids?
We want kids.
You sure you want the answer?
Oh, damn it. I wanted kids like my whole life.
Yes, you have kids.
We do.
2 boys, twins.
I knew it. Ron and Harry.
No,
I tried, couldn't sell it.
Farouz and Faisal.
Oh, we give our kids Persian names?
Can't believe you know that's Persian.
Their mother was a refugee in the great Irani collapse.
We used a surrogate?
Oh God, no. You adopt.
Someone has a mental block about surrogacy.
A block which led us to the boys.
And I wouldn't change a thing. Well, not that.
Do they know that you've come to talk us out of getting married?
Won't they disappear or something if you do?
They're already gone.
Farouz died of this awful virus the CDC took seriously too late.
London and Charlie instinctively hold on to each other.
The loss was cavernous.
Faisal
He didn't grow up either.
Oh, he grew up, graduated with 2 degrees, said he got one for each of them. He fell in love with a terrific guy he met while doing a retreat at a ranch.
We couldn't believe our city boy had vacationed in Montana, much less married a cowboy.
Which he truly was.
Gary was a wearer of Stetsons and chewer of toothpicks.
Wonderful.
Yes.
And their wedding was on a lake with enormous mountains framing them like God's great huppah. It was the happiest day we've had in years.
Until their car plunged off a bridge on the way to the reception. One of us dying is almost small potatoes at this point.
Almost.
So that's it. You're here to save them.
Don't be stupid.
How is that stupid? If we don't marry, someone else adopts them and they live somewhere else.
Farouz wasn't even the only one in his class. 3 in 5th grade, 20 in the grades below. There wasn't a corner of the U.S. that didn't look like a thresher had gone through the schoolyards. It was 3 years before the vaccination came. 3 years of a horror that made polio look weak.
Trust us when we tell you the 21st century is not for sissies.
Life isn't.
You think Faisal couldn't have died in a car accident somewhere else? It's grotesque of you to blame us.
I wasn't.
We're not unethical people. We would never have come here if the boys were alive and needed us. Your actions now might somehow cost them anything. Their lives have already been lived. This is not about them.
And this makes no sense.
We wouldn't have missed them for the world. They were the best things that ever happened to us.
Yet if you split us up, you won't have them.
They're not getting it.
We should have taken the seminar.
There are classes.
Oh, once your time stream permit is approved and your funds verified, you still have to pass tests and evaluations to get the license. And some people do this entire seminar first to help with pulling off, well, this. Granted, if I had planned things, it would have gone more smoothly, but I didn't because we're on the clock.
Are on the clock. Listen to me. We already had the boys. We've had that life. You have not. But this also means you haven't lost them, and you haven't been about to die of a disease that might have been avoided, and you have a choice.
Think of it as win-win.
And if you do make an adjustment, we'll have had our experience, but we won't know anymore. We'll be wherever life took us, knowing only that we didn't get married.
Okay, but by your own logic, whoever's dying can still die.
Perhaps not this way.
Getting married kills one of you?
Only after a fashion.
Technically, it's Hepna.
Antiviral neutralizing hepatitis N.
That's not a real thing.
It will be.
2 killer viruses zipping around? That's a lot even for sci-fi.
As has been suggested.
21st century is a bitch. This isn't going well. Teams?
Teams.
Pudge takes Charlie by the arm and walks far right. Mudge nods at London, indicating follow me, and heads left. The pairs will be as far apart as the stage allows, and we accept that they cannot hear each other.
I have to say, it's funny to see you.
Funny is not the word I'd use.
I mean, I remember, of course, but look at you. Was I ever so sweet?
Why aren't you now?
Sorry about the age crack. You look great. It's just...
Your bottomless insecurities make looks an easy target?
Fuck you.
Eventually, you'll discover the rest of the English language and outgrow saying fuck for everything. But today's a whopper, so just go ahead. Let it all out.
I know you're excited about today.
If I wasn't, wouldn't that be a bad sign?
Everyone loves a party, but really, it's a wonder anyone sits through a wedding with a straight face.
When did you get so cynical?
I loved weddings, even after we skipped ours, cried at more than a few, always just so touched by the sheer prettiness of everything and the full hearts and beginnings, and until I began to notice all the addition and subtraction involved. The couple sitting in pews who were once married to other people, now sitting in other pews. The woman sitting there nodding at vows of better for worse who kicked their cheating husbands out. Cheating husbands sitting there with new wives and children of past combinations wishing not to be there at all.
Divorce is not news to us. We've met our parents.
Ah, yes, the folks. Easy example. Best for distance because, well, scorning parents is one of the 7 ages of man. But what of your friends?
What about them?
At this very moment in your time, you have 6 sets of married friends, gay and straight.
5, actually.
My bad. I forgot. You don't know that Tony and Quinae are eloping as we speak.
What? She's singing at the reception.
So you think. So we thought. But who can throw stones? We skipped it 2. And we did forgive her, godmother to both the boys. Now stop distracting me.
What's your greatest fear this morning?
That's a ballsy opener.
I was never the soft one. Go ahead.
Dying alone.
Very good.
What is your greatest fear?
Nice return, for which I'm prepared. My greatest fear is that your greatest fear will cost one of us everything and still come true for the other. And you want to know just about the worst possible reason to marry?
My greatest fear.
I told Pudge you'd be easier to deal with.
6 sets married by noon tomorrow. How many do you think will be married by your 10th anniversary?
Wait, if you tell me, am I going to remember this and drag that knowledge around with me?
3. A perfect model of the national average.
That never changes? I kind of thought gay marriage might improve the odds.
And how many by 20 years?
Oh, please.
2.
I get it.
And divorce is only part of the equation.
Oh, no.
Looking through photo albums now, really, it's like reading the Grim Reaper's set list. It's ghastly.
If you marry Charlie today because you think Charlie will see you through all the way to the end, that's a cheat and a selfish one. If you get married because you believe you'll see Charlie through, that's a start.
I know.
Do you? Look in your heart. Look at mine, which is and isn't so different, and ask yourself this. Don't you get nervous, just a little, that you won't stay?
Maybe. I don't know. Charlie knows I think weddings are a little bit bullshit. Why do we have to dress up and spend money I don't have to tell people we love each other? Why don't we just do it? Love each other and call it good. But it's so fucking important. Char says the world celebrates all kinds of terrible things, famous battles and Columbus and whatever, so it's important to mark the good. So, okay, I'm here. And I want to be. Charlie is good and deserves a great day, but come on. We know how these things go. Something, anything could change and, okay. I picture people looking back at this day and shaking their heads the way I look at my parents' wedding album. So, yeah, I do get nervous just thinking about the what ifs. Even Charlie must.
No, not before you...
Before I what? What did I do to... wait, what do... Or did you?
I know. Time stream speak is the worst.
Never mind. I know what you're going to say. I cheat, don't I?
Not quite the way you think.
How many ways are there?
Dozens. Make a rule, break it. Offer a vow, twist it to bits. It's not just the old in and out that cuts.
I don't see Charlie forgiving me for an affair.
Forgiveness, that's child's play. Moving on? Oh.
How many couples made it 30 years? I don't know why it never occurred to us that someday there would be so few people left standing, that we wouldn't all grow old, still having parties and telling jokes about things only funny to us.
Oh, you knew. Everyone does. We just don't dwell on it.
But this means we win, then.
Win?
You said there were 2 couples from the old gang left, and then you sighed at 30, and, well, I can see you 2 are still together.
Yes.
So we made it.
You're not the less bit curious about which of you lies on death's doorstep?
I don't want to know.
I must say, I thought of myself as, no, I am tougher than that, really.
But I'm right. You make the years ahead sound like a terrible lottery or something, but we win.
If by winning you mean still together in the waning hours of life, your own and perhaps even the planets.
The planets?
To be left standing while the other couples have been claimed by ennui and adultery and a staph infection in the best hospital in Boston. If that's winning, then congratulations. I'm sorry to report there's no sash, no flowers. Don't mind me while I stand here, a little embarrassed by your reaction.
Left and right, not yet hearing each other.
Can't you just tell me?
I can't not be glad.
About what? The sex?
We made it,
The tears? The making up?
which is what I wanted.
No, it's not.
I did cheat.
You wanted constancy,
You certainly had sex
devotion,
with other people.
to know you were not just welcome
Friends, strangers,
or accepted,
strangers who became friends.
but adored
Though not so much with Charlie.
by London.
London,
Yes?
London what?
doesn't love me?
I do love Charlie, right?
Why else would we be here?
Of course.
Okay.
But adored? Not in London's bandwidth.
No?
Does Charlie know about...
You're no liar.
And constant? Please, that's so Victorian.
You mean,
You let go of that a long time ago.
Why did Charlie stay?
I never allow such a thing.
He loved you back.
You love London.
Wait, was that past tense?
Still?
Why don't
Why
you
don't you
ask?
The pairs turn and look at each other. London and Charlie take a step toward each other, but stop with a gap between.
They said,
I know.
I don't understand. We agreed.
I know.
But you're going to sleep with...
And you'll know all about it.
I what? Is that true?
It kept Mudge from cheating.
It's not cheating if you know.
What am I? The French Prime Minister's wife? Enjoying my palace while ignoring the action on the pied de terre?
You made a very conscious decision. No, I did. I made a very conscious decision that if Mudge was the sort of person who needed all that, then it was up to me.
To kick London to the curb.
Or not.
Or not. I did not.
But this goes against everything I believe in.
You think beliefs
Are fixed things?
Is this what you want?
Note that the question is not what you believe in.
He already knows.
We've already agreed to disagree on the value of monogamy in general.
have you now?
You know we did. It doesn't suit everyone, and this is not a moral judgment, but when it comes to us, we agreed on monogamy, didn't we?
Yes. Yes.
Though, perhaps, agreeing to live by something only one of you believes in, you might have set yourselves up just a smidge.
You said you thought it was best. I didn't twist your arm.
It's true. You didn't. I think, I had been thinking
I'm speaking.
that I'm cool with it. No, that I want it too. But I guess that's me and not the me I'll be.
Apparently.
Char, look at me. The me that said it means it.
So why do I end up married to him?
Because we're the same person. One of us is just more advanced.
And back to vanity.
Well, I like the first version.
Yes, we know you and change. Perhaps, can I speak for you here? Perhaps you come to discover that I offer enough things you do love to make up for the bits you're not wild about. Or as they call it, marriage.
Okay,
Yes.
but what about me? Or at least, what about you? If you couldn't handle Charlie and I's deal and you just had to have something else, why didn't you do something about it? Charlie's not the only one who could have said enough was enough. Unless you're just a coward.
Well, look at this. I've given you both a common enemy.
Before either can answer, there's a sudden gasp from Pudge, followed by a long rattling wheeze. Mudge hurries over and holds Pudge's hands tightly. It terrifies the kids. Pudge is in terrible pain, but Mudge is practiced at handling this.
Down the highway with the windows down, sing a song as we blow past this town, and we can drive, till tomorrow.
What was that?
I think it's Drive by the Beat Animals.
Jesus, London!
Charlie goes right up to Pudge, who is just now breathing easier, but tapping his chest.
It's you. Isn't it? You. We're on the clock.
I'm sorry, that's not supposed to be able to happen here.
No apologies. You can't even imagine the visual that goes with this in real time.
It doesn't, you don't look like this.
You think Time Stream involves actual bodies?
It would in the movies.
Please, I'd never have made it.
All the sci-fi you watch and you think the future resembles what you expect?
Oh my God! Stop talking about time travel! What is happening to you?
A side effect of Hepna is a susceptibility to this other thing.
I hate this century.
That shuts down your lungs eventually.
Eventually.
It's not fast at all. It's shortness of breath first, and then a little wheezing, which could be a cold.
We thought it was a cold.
Everyone does. Ugh. Hate being cliche. Some people have Hepna and pop a few pills for the rest of their lives, and it's no inconvenience beyond having to warn partners. And some people, their Hepna evolves into something out of a nightmare. And that changeover, scientists nicknamed it the turn. I've had Hepna so long that a sniffle, the first sign, really, truly registered it. No more than a sniffle. Why would it? It's not like you get a card with your diagnosis telling you, hey, you got the sucky kind.
We live in an age where science has figured out how to travel through time, yet no one can pinpoint what causes the turn. Go nature, always on top.
Obviously, you know it's a possibility with Hepna, but you know you can die in a plane crash and you still take trips to Barcelona.
Yes, Barcelona.
Remember that club?
Bullfighter night.
Oh, and the sex after. I still can't believe you found a cape.
And a whip.
And what did you make me call you? Ramon something.
Ramon Yamon.
Oh, Ramon Yamon.
I want to bone Antonio Banderas y Benicio del Toro.
LA.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
We didn't always get it wrong.
No, we didn't.
You're dying of some horrible lung thing, and you're talking about hotel sex.
Someday.
After kids.
You'll appreciate it. And you know what? I already know I'm dying. After the sniffle, cough. After the cough, a wheeze. After the wheeze, a pain. Shortness that says your lungs are smaller than they were. And after that, a shiver, a question. Oh my God, am I one of those? Is this the turn? In the doctor's office waiting room, playing out the images I've seen in movies and thinking, am I going to slowly suffocate? Because that's what it is. There's no pretending otherwise. Knowing I'll be awake for it, clear of mind as I go, and that's horror. That's what makes people do fundraising walks and telethons, and suddenly I wish I'd given more money and never laughed at that stand-up comedian who told a long Hepna joke that ends with no punchline because he pretended to be out of air. And then there's the blood draw in which my arm is shaking because I already saw in the doctor's eyes a little curtain falling over the rest of my life, which I now know won't be long enough, but will feel like 1,000,000 terrible years. So hotel sex, yes, please.
Charlie turns instinctively to London for comfort, hiding in London's arms.
Maybe we can just stay in time stream forever. You haven't made a speech this long since you saw the credit card at Christmas.
You know, you'd have gotten one yesterday if I didn't have a tube down my throat.
So we are talking about yesterday.
At least flirt in the hallway. My eyes didn't take a turn.
Trying to score at a deathbed? How much do I suck?
I was not scoring anything. The nurse started it. Like some old, I guess. All I did was smile. I didn't even get up.
But you took your eyes off me.
For half a second, tops.
And I thought, can't I have this time? Can't I be enough for just this moment?
But I never let go of your hand.
Oh, I suppose not.
I'm probably still holding it now.
I suppose so.
So let me get this straight. You're dying, and you're keeping vigil by the bedside, and you choose this moment to do your time stream thing, which doesn't use your bodies, but is actually happening to your minds while the clock runs out?
That's about right.
How the hell can you do both things at once?
It's the mechanics that bother you?
We scheduled our time stream a month ago,
He scheduled it.
thinking that Pudge had a good 6 weeks, and we barely got the paperwork approved. Once your time is set, you can't change it. That's a big risk with such an expensive purchase.
And no one sells time stream insurance.
So when they asked if we want to go ahead despite the shrinking window, we said yes.
I more just nodded, obviously.
The technician set up right in Pudge's room.
Tell me I'm not going to die all strapped into some bizarre device with strangers by my side.
I'm not strapped into anything. It's all hand bit and an earpiece, and the strangers are discreetly across the room from my bed. I can only see Mudge and the windowsill, which is covered with photos of the boys, our dogs, Christmas cactus, flowers from Quinay.
And the candles. Don't forget the candles.
In a hospital?
Unlit. We're not idiots. I got them to pretty up the room.
I didn't even have to ask.
I know my Pudge.
Without warning, Pudge gasps sharply.
Apparently, there is some bleed over in the two experiences.
Another gasp. It hurts and Pudge clenches.
Oh, it isn't supposed to work this way. Ow!
Down the highway with the windows down, sing a song as we blow past this town, and we can drive, till tomorrow.
That always does the trick.
Why that?
It's our song.
Our song is Love Me Up Straight by Jet Jet.
That was before you split.
What?
Drive was your makeup song. You played it after therapy like a little ritual for months, and when therapy was over and you moved back in, the song remained.
So I did leave you then. Like I'd ever put up with that.
Well,
I'm right, aren't I? I worked it out. With all the playing around, London picked up this Hepna thing, and then I got it. And the universe is just rude enough, and that I'm the unlucky one who took the turn, and you came here to let me choose not to go through with it. Not to say yes, not to get Hepna, not to die if I don't have to.
And if you're right,
I'm so sorry, honey.
What do you mean, if?
well,
Why is that conditional?
because Mudge never had Hepna. Lovers, yes, some of them cringeworthy.
hey now.
The dental hygienist with all the tie-dye, no, agreed, cringeworthy. But let me be clear. The Hepna was all mine.
Then how did you?
Oh,
No,
holy shit.
me too?
Once or twice.
That doesn't sound like me at all.
I was trying on a new me, as one does.
It didn't stick.
Did our vows not mean anything to either of you?
First, we made a vow to be faithful, which I was, until I couldn't be.
Then we made a new vow that some things would be sacred, and the heart was one of them.
And then I broke that too.
And that did the trick. Body was one thing, but I'm a heart person. No sharing.
He kicked me to the curb, as well he should have. First time apart in decades,
Which I hated.
which I hated. But we tried, both of us, doing the new lives business.
Oh, Sam.
Sam?
You know the way Charlie lights up for you? Imagine all that energy radiating off those electric eyes turned toward another face.
Oh, and what a face.
That'll be a new sensation, just when you think there won't be any more of them. The sensations I'd been chasing suddenly look cold and thin next to that glow.
And then, lucky you, the spark went out.
You came to your senses?
Actually, Sam,
Died of hypna?
no, what? No, Sam's a perfect specimen of health. We should all be so lucky.
Then until Sam what?
Found religion, one which prohibited sex outside marriage. He went to the river to be baptized, and the hypna was just a parting gift. It's so brutal.
And who saw you through?
You did. You were the sweetest you've ever been. I don't know what I would have done without you.
So, therapy.
A new song,
The long dinners returned.
shows, and concerts,
The nights on the sofa, binge streaming handbit.
casual mockery of our relatives.
And the embrace of dear friends.
To put that off after all we've been through.
That was a marvel on a par with time stream.
They beam at each other for a moment, a bit proud. London takes us in, but Charlie is focused on one thing only.
I give it to myself. I do this to me.
That was a source of some disagreement.
As you might imagine, we've been over this. If I hadn't needed all that extracurricular activity,
Lacrosse, marching band, chess club.
if I hadn't, would you have ever sought anyone else?
I can't say. It can't be known. Things happen.
They do. They really fucking do.
Then you move on.
And why are you here? Is this like some kind of space-time prophylactic?
For God's sake, we didn't come here to warn you about Hepna.
Or the sex.
It doesn't sound that way.
It was the ignorance.
We didn't know the depths we were in.
We married because everyone does, and we did it the way everyone does, and we played by the same rules as everyone we knew.
But no one warned us just how much might change.
That I might change. Become a version of myself that was only a seed then, too small to see, but buried right in the core, so it couldn't ungrow.
While I might not change at all, that I might harden into a fixed thing that had to be broken to be moved.
No one tells the truth, which is that love may not be enough.
Enough to keep us together, sure, but enough?
The night we got the news that it was official, that the turn was happening, that we had 6 weeks if we were lucky, Pudge took a few over-the-counter sleeping pills just to make the fear go away. I didn't even crawl into the bed. I just stood there, watching the one I love more than anyone on earth, who's known me longer and better than any soul living or dead, sleeping so deeply and sadly. And I thought, Pudge will die, not ever having had a chance to live the life I promised and couldn't deliver. We got to live my life, and Pudge decided that was better than starting over. What if there was no need to start over after the heartache because there was no heartache? What if someone could shine a light into our hearts when we were still young and say, if you do this, this is what it really means. Stay if you will, but stay knowing. Or go, and go with every good reason. And I realized someone could shine that light. I could. I cashed in a lot of stock.
Stock you should have held on to for after.
To book Time Stream. And only when it was set did I tell Pudge.
Years, decades I've waited for a romantic gesture, and then you just overshoot entirely.
Sorry. But I came here to let you off the hook. To let you know that the marriage you're imagining, London can't give you that. I can't. There are people out there whose hearts and minds and temperaments are closer to yours. I'm sure of it. You don't have to tie yourself to something you never imagined. I love you enough to hope you can have the thing you want and not just to make peace with the thing you have.
It's sweet, right? I said I didn't want to come. I made my bed, and somewhere far from here, I am lying in it, and the happiest thing in the world is that you are still sitting next to me. What on earth would I trade that for?
You mean that?
If the comfort of someone so stingy with emotion and yet so liberal with glances at attractive nurses is the happiest thing, maybe you deserve another go at the world.
Do you mean that?
Yes.
Which leaves us at odds.
Shocking.
Really, it's almost our thing.
But this is not. This is your call.
You're not serious. You're not expecting an answer right now.
Oh, well, it's not like anyone's dying.
Don't be mean. Mudge is quite serious.
Of course I am. Well?
Char, look at me.
Please, just...
Charlie walks as far from them as the light allows. London feels adrift and stuck all at once. But Pudge is looking at Mudge with shining eyes.
You're really doing it.
This, my dear, is love. It was awfully selfish of me to keep you this long.
Perhaps. But you got to have your life and delete it, too. Well played.
And here you thought I was all looks.
You just want to get rid of me because the catheter makes me look fat.
Damn straight, you hideous old thing.
Promise me, if they chicken out and you have to play Left Behind after that, that you'll turn this into an episode of a book of your own and the first memoir of the time stream, and by a celebrity to boot, and you'll be all set, and I won't have to waste away my afterlife wishing you hadn't used up our savings on Time Stream.
Now there can be 2 writers in the house?
There'll only be one. Thanks for waiting your turn.
What's 40 years? Besides everything.
I don't know what happens next.
I don't either. I'd kill to say something comforting, but everything I can think of sounds so false in my head, and all I want is to be true.
Oh no, you can't go all German water wheel on me. I can't bear it.
I suppose not.
Mudge leans in for a kiss. It's sweet, but then Pudge pulls back.
Oh!
Honey?
A funny look, a slow intake of breath.
Oh, I think we should get going. Oh!
Another breath. It hurts a little.
Sorry, kids, we've done our bit.
Mudge offers an arm and Pudge takes it. They lock eyes, knowing this exit is the biggie.
You can't just... what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Pudge utters little "oh" sounds, delivered in that kind of pained laugh that one makes when trying not to cry and hearing how they sound. It transitions over the course of their exit to just little gasps. Arm in arm, with some dignity, the older couple exit, Mudge singing and Pudge on the way to dying.
Down the highway, with the windows down,
Oh,
sing a song.
ow.
We blow past this town, and we can drive, and we can drive till tomorrow.
They exit before the last line of the song is reached. Silence on stage for a full fucking minute.
Dar, I love you.
London takes a few timid steps towards Charlie, then crosses all the way. He embraces Charlie from behind. He makes the speech that must be made, the speech of someone right to be scared witless.
Charlie. Jar. We don't have to listen to them. You don't have to believe that. Or at least, we don't have to be afraid. I still want it. The kids, the dinners, the shows, the hotel sex, and the making it through. It can be sad and hard and less than we thought. And still be plenty. Still be so much. It can be enough, can't it? I want it still. I do.
London turns Charlie so they are face to face. He takes Charlie's hand. This is consciously the vow tableau straight out of a wedding. London is dead serious.
Do you? Do you still?
Tears are streaming down Charlie's face, though we don't know whether it's from being moved by the speech or wrecked by the weight of all that precedes it. Wiping the tears away, his eyes fixed on London, and with a full heart, Charlie takes a big breath. End of play.
Can we give a round of applause for this incredible cast? Congratulations, everybody. David, Ansley, Reggie, Daniel, Matt, Ted, everybody's here. Great. And now I'm going to pass the floor over to Kay, who is in charge of our Q&A.
My goodness. Oh my gosh. I'm still like, oh, that was so beautiful and very, 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 very touching. So thank you, actors. Thank you, David. And thank you, Al, for stage directions. Touches on so many ideas. I mean, idea of marriage, obviously, not just marriage, but long-term marriage. And of course, the play takes place on the day of this important event. And I'm going to ask a couple of questions, but I want to let everybody know we would love to have comments from the audience, and you can just put it in the YouTube chat, and I will check that out as we go. And then also any questions that you have for any of the actors, for the director, for the playwright, and we can just have a conversation about this play for a little bit. Some comments coming in just to let you know. Woohoo! Clap, clap! Well done! Yes to all of you. Awesome! Open-ended ending. Bravo! Somebody else says I need closure. Congrats, everyone! Beautiful! Wow! Lovely! Brilliant! Brilliant, guys. So yeah, it touches on so many ideas of marriage, the idea of monogamy. Is it possible with long-term 30 plus year, 30, 40 plus year relationship? The idea of changing the past, the idea of meeting your future self. I don't know. I've always had a fantasy of meeting myself as a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old. I've just always had that. So this play gives us that opportunity to go back and be in conversation and be in relationship with a younger or older self. My question to start, David, is it's so much about the personal. It's about these 2/4 people coming together and kind of seeing their lives. the course of their lives will change. And then as we move through it, we get into Hepna and the turn, and we get into Killer Virus, and all of a sudden it turns to from the personal and then to social, political, right now. And I'm wondering, in the process of development, was that always part of what you were intending, or was it the personal all the way through, and in the present moment that came up? I was just curious about that.
Yeah, my interest was in looking at what long-term couples go through, right? And the things that you can't predict. And a lot of what you can't predict is who you'll be, who another person will be, what it will be like to try and make a go of it if somebody changes, if you don't both change at the same pace. But on top of that, there are all the things that life presents to everybody, which is the things that you can't predict, the deaths, the losses, the other adjustments that you're navigating on top of what two people are doing. I should say that this play was written several years ago, and when I started drafting this play, all of this stuff, pandemics and bizarre viruses, was completely meant to be sci-fi, right? And so hearing the play in this particular year is a little something.
Wow, that's incredible, because it just feels obviously right now.
Yeah.
Right? Another question that I have has to do with the ending. There's a question here about the ending, but my question is this. So I don't know a lot about Doctor Who. I've heard of the show, of course, but I did a little research on Doctor Who. And the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, says time can shift, time can change, time can be rewritten. And the events in the past obviously can be changed, and thus will directly affect the future. So in a way, I mean, the end, Pudge and Mudge say, I've come back based on Mudge's behavior, Mudge/London's behavior, because of how he's been all the way through. And this is someone that London cannot be. He cannot be this person that you're imagining in this marriage. So I'm wondering, this idea of, because they've come back and they can change anything, it's the decision on Charlie to make the change as opposed to the behavior. So it's Charlie's decision at the end, to see what's going to happen. And I'm just wondering what, because it was Mudge/London's behavior that got us here in the first place, I think. I mean, one of the factors. And why it was just the thinking about why not both of them have to do something. And it's a lot of pressure on poor Charlie to have to make in this moment. I don't know.
Well, for my money, they both have to make the choice, but London is ahead of Charlie through most of the play. He's beginning to pick up, this is once he gets convinced that this is real and he understands his role in it, he's actively ahead of Charlie, who is constantly trying not to see. It's Charlie makes it a job almost not to see. So London actually makes a choice. When he makes that speech, London, who does not make big speeches, who is not the demonstrative one, when he makes that speech, that pitch to Charlie right at the end of the play after Mudge and Pudge have left, that's him making a choice. Whether it's any better choice or not, right? He's like, let's go for it. But it's also true to character, it's serving him, right? To make that choice. I will say that, like, when he says that I cannot offer you what I promised, I can't offer the thing that you wanted, that does put a lot on his shoulders, but they are both there because of both of their behaviors. Charlie has spent a life making his own choices too, right? So it's not that he ends up in that hospital bed specifically because of London, but because of the things that they keep choosing together. And this is their moment to choose. Are we going to make the same choice? Are we going to make a different parallel choice? Or are we going to make two different choices that aren't the same?
Yeah. Cool. Great. Okay. Some ideas and questions coming through. Okay. That's wild to think that the virus storyline was crafted before COVID. So you met someone time traveling warning us about COVID question. Loved it, great job, too hard for me, tears of mourning right now, sleep well everyone. Okay. It says, David, what were you reading or inspired by when creating the story? How many rewrites has the script gone through?
Well, I'll be honest, a little disclosure here. I was inspired by the fact that when I started this play, my husband and I had been together at that point 20 years and had come through several rounds of therapy and thought we were on pretty solid ground. And so I wrote this play initially as a Valentine to the work is hard, but you can do it. We're now divorced. So it doesn't always work out for everybody. But I was writing it because when we went through this, we were very open talking to other people about our therapy, and we discovered all these sort of closet therapy cases, not just in gay couples, but in straight couples. Everybody was struggling with how do you keep it going? How do you make it last when things change and as people change? And I really wanted to write a play about the fact that I got struck by this idea of going to weddings. I love weddings. And sitting there and watching these young, happy faces and being like, oh, the shit they don't know. Jeez, ooh, right? So I wasn't reading anything. I just was watching. I was in this stew of so many people I knew going through this exact experience, gay, straight, and the terms are a little bit different in gay couples. And so a lot of this is very specific to gay couples. But I just always love sci-fi. If I can work time travel into something, I will.
Cool. I would like to throw it out to the actors, what it was like for you all to work on this play, and Reg, Ted, Matthew, or do you go by Matt, and Daniel, and then Asla for Ansley, what it was like for you to direct the piece.
I'm going to speak. I'm a 69-year-old man whose pudgy 40-year husband is sitting here sobbing his heart out at the moment. It has so much. I mean, in many ways, this is my life. I taught acting for a long time, and I often said, as people were trying to create imaginary relationships, that no one has the relationship they started off thinking they were going to have. It just doesn't happen that way. And almost nobody would say, looking 30 years down the road, that's the relationship I was hoping for. But we adjust. I always sort of compare it to what happens with your spine when your spine goes out of line. Yes, a vertebrae goes like this, and then something underneath changes, and then something underneath changes, and something just to keep supporting. So you keep making changes, and the other person makes changes. You adjust, they adjust, and that's how life works. This feels very true and very personal to me. I have no idea if the play's any good or not. It just hurts my heart so much, and I adore it. I can't really analyze it because it feels so much. I'm done.
Awesome. Somebody else?
Yeah, I'd like to speak. So I just feel like, I guess I'll start by saying that I am not the romantic type, and I'm not, the person that's got the dream wedding or is really about all of that stuff. But I think what was very powerful in this play, David, that I was able to connect to, just during this time is, everyone has dreams and everyone has lost things. And, how do you move forward? Because it's just, a lot of people are stuck in this lingo and this pool of light and this suspension, and just all of the things that, you were hoping for to be sort of just thrown at you, in the span of a couple months, I think is just a very powerful, way to connect, to relevancy of what's going on today.
Cool. Yes. Anybody else? No? Okay. A couple more comments. My amateur pedestrian opinion is that at some point I'd like to see a setting change. I feel something like a sort of Newlywed Show setup where we have a moment to just laugh. Okay. Question, do you think that the number of sexual partners and the reveal of it affects how each person views their relationship choices and marriage?
I think it does for London for sure, right? In that this is a case where he's basing his beliefs and his actions on the notion that Charlie has had more life experience than this, and it's for somebody especially like London who is more sexual and is more sexually experienced, it's a heavy burden to think, wow, I'm it. Right, that's a lot to ask of somebody for a lifetime. Just a note on the I love the idea of the newlywed show. I should have mentioned one of the things that was I set myself a task in every play, and they're all all my plays are kind of different. I give myself limitations, and the limitation for this play was to make it a bottle episode. So if you're not familiar with that term, a bottle episode, you'll see them sometimes in TV shows. A bottle episode is when the whole thing takes place in one fixed setting while the time runs out. So it's a set amount of time, and the people are trapped in an elevator, or they can't leave the room, or it's all in a car. So I hear you on the idea that it'd be nice to break out of there, but I'm trapping the characters in the suspension pool because I made it a rule.
Yeah. There's a question from early on. I skipped over it by mistake. Charlie, what did you say? You don't have to answer that. And then another one, the variation on a theme. David, do you think Charlie will say yes? Or do you think he has seen something he can't heal from? Spoiler.
Here's my answer to that. Of course, I'm not going to answer it, but my answer to that is so somebody hit the question had come up earlier, how many drafts? So it's been through all my plays. Like I draft and rewrite. This has had a couple of readings before, and interestingly, at the two previous readings, which were very different audiences, there was a heavy preponderance of which way Charlie should go, or like what Charlie would answer, but different from the two readings. My goal is that because there's no right way to be married, right? There's you've got two people trying to find their way and do the thing that works for them. I really think that what Charlie should say really is going to fall on the audience. And each individual member is going to think, that's a good call, that's not a good call. That's actually London's fault, or Charlie dug his own hole, or both, right? And I know when I wrote it where I leaned for an answer, but I also know that sort of shifted back and forth over time, and I've heard so many people's very firm cases for what he should answer that I like that.
Cool. Just a few more, and then says as someone says, as Bell Hooks says, love is an action, never simply a feeling. And London feels like an embodiment of this in parts of the play to me. David, do you think David and the actors and Ainsley, do you think they both equally embody this though? Any idea on that?
Yeah, I think as we were working with the play yesterday, and also as I was reading it and trying to prepare, was trying to figure out, well, how do you strike the balance between the two, and that I really wanted to lean into David's idea that we don't know the answer, that we don't get that closure, and to be sure that we played it in such a way that that audiences could root for them to go either way. And I'll piggyback on what you said, David. I think that's really, that to me is more closer to truth, that, that we're making a choice on a day-to-day basis to stay. If we're with somebody, you're making a choice, and that's a thing that's continually negotiated and renegotiated. And, if you're honest, you're always asking yourself, was this the right choice? and asking yourself, well, if I could go back and do it all over again, would I make the same choice? And I think in our work was really trying to get to the place where you could buy that they would make the same choice, or buy that they wouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think that they have different moments in which they shine. Like for Charlie's or Charlie, who is by that point known as Pudge. Pudge's big time to really act that love is when he did the work and opened up and was trying to make the space for who Mudge was. And Mudge actually does the same thing at the end of the play. It takes him longer. They're in different spaces. So what he's doing at the end of the play is opening up and making space for who Charlie is. Right. So they have their times when they choose what's the thing that will be hard for me? What's the thing that feels hard but might give this other person something?
Cool. Yes. All right. I think just as I said, well acted, great job. Wow. This needs the unity of time and place. Message in a bottle. Tying this play in a neat bow would be a mistake. So true. Great answer. Thank you, Ansley. And what about this? And the last question I'll say, what about this production do you want to be sure we noticed? Or I mean, I feel like there's a lot in there that we take in, but is there anything particular, I guess, this question is, that you want us, I guess, a takeaway?
I'll speak from my director standpoint. I wanted people to know that they loved each other. That no matter what, there was still love in there. It's just whether, did we make the right choice?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, go ahead.
I was just agreeing.
Yeah, I just think we see love all the way through. I mean, we really do. We see that relationships are hard, and someone made a mention of that, and we see the work, I think, in this play of what it takes to be with someone. So I think that's what we have for the talk back.
Well, thank you so much, Kay. Thank you so much to everybody at home. Once again,
thank you, actors.
Oh yes, please, yes. Thank you, actors. Thank you, Ansley.
Ansley.
Thank you, David. Yeah, no, it was an absolute pleasure getting to see and hear the play. And to everybody at home, thank you very much for joining in and watching Vow Keepers with us today. I just want to plug, next week is going to be the last play of our second cycle, You Were Mine by Rachel Lynette. Directed by Ismail Lara Jr. We have an incredible cast. We're very lucky to get to share that play. Thank you for supporting us. Please, we want to see you next week, 7:30 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday. If you haven't donated, please consider donating at Kane Rep through our Venmo or by using the secure donation link below. We get to compensate our actors who did an incredible job today and all of our artists. So thank you very much. Have a lovely night, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Okay? Thank you.